Hello team and welcome back to the last football social of the season. It's Leicester versus Manchester United at the King Power and the stakes could not be higher. Extremely glad you're joining us for this absolute banger. UCL football is on the line. The two teams that have been starved of Champions League football in seasons gone by. If Manchester United qualify today, they'll have only qualified 3 times in the 7 seasons since Fergie left. While Leicester haven't had a foray into Europe's elite competition since 16-17. Already secured European football for only the 5th time in their Premiership career. But if they don't secure Wednesday nights as opposed to Thursday nights, it will be bitterly disappointing for those fans who were sitting pretty in January, weren't they? 14 points ahead of Manchester United. United only need to avoid defeat in order to do so. This could have huge consequences, such as things on recruitment and the like. And we have recruited a star lineup for you today. We're joined by 5-time Premier League champion and 1-time Champions League winner. It's Mikel Silvestre. How are you, sir?
Very good, thanks. And you guys?
Oh, I'm very good. All the better for you joining us. How are you feeling about today?
Feel pretty confident, because the results so far, lately are clearly in favor of Manchester United. So, playing away, a draw would be sufficient for United to secure that spot. I'm pretty confident they can do the job today. Hopefully, they can do it.
Yeah, and to really beef out the Manchester United ranks, we have Michael McCubbin, my favourite Manchester supporting member of Football Daily. Sorry, Joseph, that is the truth. How are you feeling about today? Manchester United actually unbeaten against Leicester in their last 10 fixtures, Mike.
Yeah, I don't think they've lost to them at the King Power since that 5-3 back in 2014 as well. So that's a good omen, but considering the last few performances from United, I can't help but feel a little nervous. Not good enough against West Ham, obviously not good enough against Chelsea in the FA Cup either. But looking at that Leicester back line, it is pretty weak. Not many of their regular starters are fit enough, are there? So like Mikel, I think I'm quietly confident about today.
Lovely stuff. And we're obviously rounding off the show, the man who's always confident of a 3-3 result coming in. Will Brazier, our last show of the season. Got to leave it all out on the field, mate.
Yeah, straight in there, just getting in their faces and letting them know we're here straight away. I'll be in Social Corner. You get at me, at Football Daily, at Graham, using the hashtag TFS. I'll read the best questions out. And there's 20 teams in the Premier League. 3 of them could be going down today. Aston Villa, Watford and Bournemouth. The permutations are unreal, and I'll be keeping up to date with that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Today's show, not only about the Champions League, mainly, but not only. Will would, of course, love to see Aston Villa go down. Let's have a look at the bottom of the table and those permutations that Will was just speaking about. Okay, all to play for from 17th to 15th. 18th and 17th, isn't it, at Watford, and Aston Villa vying for Premier League survival. And as Will said, he'll keep you updated on all the scores as the matches progress. And there we have it, the summit, the top of the Premier League. Of course, the battle for the Champions League places has been the most absorbing part of the final reaches of the season, and Leicester need to hope that Wolves get a result against Chelsea and they can get something against Manchester United. But like we said, that's not been the case in the last 10 fixtures, and not in the last couple of fixtures either. Brendan Rodgers doesn't have a great record against Manchester United. Let's go to Leicester's formation though, because the manager has mixed it up for this fixture. Got ourselves a 3-5-2, gentlemen. Of course, Brighton and Thomas operating as wing-backs in the absence of Ricardo and Ben Chilwell. Maddison also a long-term injury. Chowdhury, Kelechi and Albrighton come in from that disappointing Tottenham loss for Perez, Barnes and Bennett. For Manchester United, pretty much business as usual. Wan-Bissaka returns for Timothy Fosu-Mensah at right back. Luke Shaw still out, so Williams retaining his place. Oh, that front line looks tasty. Bruno Fernandez. Let's talk about Bruno Fernandez a little bit, Mikel, because he's, of course, been the Premier League's form player since the return. I think he set a record of 13 goal involvements in his first 10 games. Did you anticipate he would have this sort of effect on the side?
No, clearly not. I didn't see it coming. I mean, I've watched him a few times before he joined, but when you step up into that league and where United was, I thought it would take a bit more time for him to really deliver. And as soon as he arrived, he's shown his character. He took charge of the creativity for United in the absence of Paul Pogba. And he's shown what maybe United was missing, some grinta in midfield. I'm using good words, but character, strong character. Doesn't matter who he's playing, who he's facing. Offensively, defensively, he's playing like 100%. You can feel that he's a bad loser, so he wants to achieve, and he's done it so quickly and so well for United. So clearly a very good signing in the end. So far, so good.
Yeah, and I mean, conversely, an academy product in Mason Greenwood is making a big impression at the end of this season. A lot of people have talked about his ability and his potential for a long time now. How satisfying is it to see him, Mikel, make a really strong impression in the dying embers of the season?
I mean, it's great. I've watched him 2 years ago playing for United and playing for England abroad in a tournament, and Nicky Butt always told me, look out for this kid. He's going to be a superstar. But again, he's shown a lot of maturity and character to deliver again in the Premier League top level against top defenders. I think also his body has changed. He's put on some weight so he can challenge. He can handle the challenges, and his goal scoring record just speak for itself. He's got that natural ability that you can see the late strikers at United like Robin van Persie, Dimitri Berbatov. He's got that eye for the goal, and he can strike from both feet. So yeah, I'm super happy to see him doing so well for United at 18 years old.
Extremely young. Can't remember what I was doing at 18, actually. Michael, we touched upon it at the start of the show. This may affect, if Manchester United don't secure Champions League football here, it may affect how they recruit in the summer. And of course, Jadon Sancho has been talked about as a target for quite some time now. But do you buy into this, that sort of United's progression hinges on qualifying for the Champions League today?
I don't think it doesn't completely hinge, but there is an argument that I've been seeing that this is potentially the biggest match of the post-Ferguson era. And I do kind of see it in terms of United are probably, in terms of morale, in terms of football that's been played, in terms of the feeling around the team, probably on the steepest upward trajectory they've been on in the last 7 years at this moment in time. And in terms of striking while the iron's hot and securing the services of one of the top young players in world football in Jadon Sancho, securing Champions League football from a financial standpoint and from the standpoint of, being able to persuade him to join United, although from what we've heard that he's pretty keen on it. I think it's massively important, and also just I think just in staking United out as a team that are going to be consistently challenging in Europe for years to come, because I think on the basis of the last 8 games, United very much look like a team that can consistently qualify for the Champions League. So I think making that happen, obviously the financial benefit as well. I think it's massive. It really is massive. Even if Jadon Sancho can be secured anyway, I think having that Champions League football next year only makes United a stronger proposition going into the January transfer window, going into next summer's transfer window. Yeah, I think it doesn't stop with this summer for sure. I think this is massive for Solskjaer.
Yeah, it is the match that's worth £45 million, but like you said, more importantly, it is leverage to bring in those top European talents, and we've seen a lot of clubs do their business early, including Chelsea this summer. So no doubt Manchester United will want to do the same, exact the same. And Will, I was just watching the teams come out in the tunnel there. I'm looking at the likes of Greenwood, Rashford and Martial, and then I'm also looking at Wes Morgan, and not to do him a disrespect, this is going to be tough for Leicester, right? What are your thoughts on this? Do you harbour any hope for the Midlands side?
Say again?
I think it's going to be tough for them, isn't it? I mean, Wes Morgan came back in the other day and Brendan Rodgers sang his praises as that beautiful, beautiful bugle plays out. Lovely sound bed underneath it. But yeah, no, I think he just knows what he needs to do. I think they'll probably play, I hope he's got two centre-backs around him, like with Justin with the pace, and Johnny Evans has got experience for days. So I think everyone else will do the running for him. And look, he's a Premier League winner, isn't he? He's captain that side, and they did a remarkable job. So I think a bit of experience in there for today might just help them out.
Yeah, and what are people making out of their lineups in the comments? Have you gauged the reception to them yet? Do we know where people are sort of sounding out early doors as to where Manchester United or Leicester can cause one another some damage?
Yeah, lots of questions in, obviously, for you as well, Mikel. And one here from Bigsy as well. He says, as a former teammate of Ollie, how do you rate his performance as your Manchester United manager?
I think when you are becoming United manager, you should have a quality group of players to work with. But then you're going to be judged on trophies and on handling the crisis and the tough decision. So is that both? Is that great moment? Last season when he took over, and that run of games, and then difficult moment to handle, and then signing some top players as well. So I think overall he's doing well. He's doing well because he was given the mission to rebuild, to reboot, and that's what he's done. Also the example of Matic was a tough one. I think Matic was on his way out, and that to see such a turnaround in terms of Matic's performances and then an extension in the contract, Pogba maybe could be staying and signing another contract. So it's credit to Ole, because it doesn't matter what happened in the media world and what people say. He's been given a instruction, and he's following his own plan with the staff, and now they're like 90 minutes away from getting back into the Champions League. So I think I'm giving him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, nice. On the subject of credit, Michael, I know this might be hard with your Manchester United hat on, and I'm going to start calling you McCubbin actually on this stream just for ease.
I was thinking that too. That's a good idea.
I think that would be a good tactic. Do you think that Leicester fans have maybe got a little bit ahead of themselves? We just pointed out that they've only qualified for Europe 4 times in their entire history. They've of course secured Europa League football. Is this a big success story regardless of what happens here or what?
Yeah, I think so. Like, look, Leicester were really on fire at the start of the season, weren't they? And I don't think it was ever going to last that long, considering their lack of depth in the squad. Considering also that there were a few results that probably flattered them a little bit at the start of the season as well. So I think that there was maybe some unrealistic expectations kind of halfway through the season. Some people even thinking that they could challenge Liverpool at the top, which, despite the relatively small points difference in those first few months, I think was very, very far-fetched to say the least. But yeah, I don't think Leicester fans can complain too much. Like the top of the Premier League has never been so competitive. So even to miss out on Champions League football would not be a disaster. They're still finishing above Arsenal. They're still finishing above Spurs. They're still going to finish above Wolves as well. So yeah, I mean, their place in that kind of top six is very much solidified this year. And in 18 months of Brendan Rodgers, that's really positive. Ooh, is that a penalty? No,
Offside.
Offside. Okay.
An extremely ambitious McCall from McCubbin at the start of the show. He wants a penalty already.
He wants
first blood, Mikel. Narrowly offside. But Manchester United threatening, and they've done this in the last couple of games against Leicester. We said earlier, Marcus Rashford had scored twice against Leicester in his last two appearances in the first 10 minutes. But before we go any further, gentlemen, let's have a price boost from our sponsors, Sky Bet. It's only polite of us. And we have a series of them, in fact. Fernandez to score from outside the area, maybe my favourite from that selection, was 9-1, now 10-1. And we do know he's taking over 2 shots from outside the area because of an excellent script that Michael McCubbin produced on a video that might be going live very soon on Football Daily. Rashford to score a brace and Maguire to score a header. So they favour the bets. They favour a Manchester United victory. But let us know what you think. Odds accurate at the time of recording. You have to be 18 plus to play along. Terms and conditions apply. Leicester fans as well. We don't want to talk amongst ourselves about Leicester's season. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Get your thoughts and feelings on finishing potentially 4th or 5th to Will, and he'll go through the motions for you later. But Will, let's have a couple more questions then to ease us into this game as Leicester ease their way out of danger.
Yeah, Mikel, speaking of Leicester, I saw an interview yesterday with Kasper Schmeichel and lots of questions in about whether finishing 5th, obviously if the results don't go the right way for them, would be a successful season.
Yeah, I think so. It would be a successful season, Most of the time, there is a correlation between wages, budget, and your position in the league table at the end of the season. So, Leicester has been overachieving this year. Credit to the manager and to the team and the staff. Vardy, Golden Boot probably today. We will see. But yeah, they've done extremely well. I like the way they play. They are a fun team to watch playing. So it's they're bringing a lot to the Premier League. Leicester is not a massive club, but on the pitch they've been challenging with the top teams. They've lost ground on United after the restart, but overall this season I think they will end up above what people were expecting at the beginning of the season, because we are talking about Spurs, about Arsenal, and now they're above those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. My ability to manage this, gentlemen, I'm going to be brutally honest with you at the start of the show. I am heavily invested in a Leicester victory, so if I go quiet, just give me a prod, all right? Goes to the guys in the studio as well. Manchester United having most of the positive possession in these opening exchanges. They've forced a corner here. Leicester, I'm seeing all Brighton pump the ball to Vardy like it's 15-16 again, but we'll see if they can adopt a new tack moving forward. McCubbs, where do you think the most damage can be done here from a Manchester United perspective?
I think on either wing, to be honest. Obviously, Rashford has been excellent this season, probably United's best player all season, I think it's fair to say at this point. And obviously, Leicester are fairly weak there, without their key men in those areas. What's going on here,
Oh,
Will?
hello.
Goal at the bottom. Watford have conceded a penalty already, and Aubameyang has scored for Arsenal, which makes life a lot easier for Aston Villa and gives Bournemouth a very, very good chance of staying up if results go their way. So Arsenal 1, Watford 0. After about 2 minutes, I think the penalty was given. So, not the best start if you're a Watford fan in the Cojones derby.
That was very reminiscent of season 1 of the Football Social there, Will, you shouting goal, mate. I got nostalgic then. Shivers, mate, pure shivers. We are witnessing the penalty now. You on. It was a convincing penalty. Aubameyang wraps that up. And, of course, the race for the Golden Boot rages on as well, doesn't it? We'll talk a little bit more about that later. but Manchester United are on the attack again. And Mikel, say Manchester United do secure the Champions League. We don't want to tempt fate here, but where do you think they need to strengthen in order to progress as a side?
It's not really, for me, I'm not going to judge where they need to do it. I know what they're looking for.
No, you're the director of football now. I've just heard from Ed Woodward.
They're looking for a right winger, that's for sure. And then, I think this squad is ready to compete with Liverpool and City next season. If
Interesting.
They keep
So
that
the squad,
form,
as it stands, gets your seal of approval.
Yeah, I think those players need to be given more time to really perform better and get the consistency, because sometimes it's been on and off. But to stay up there and compete with the top ones, you can't have off days. And that's what they're missing at the moment. But the more they play together, I think they will get there. They have a chance at least to get there. So it's nice. Not going to be an overall... it might be 2 or 3 players coming, but okay. Jadon Sancho's been linked to the club for a while now, but his price tag make it difficult. So yeah, that's definitely one area where the club is actively looking for the right player to fill in.
Well, Harry Maguire was the right man to step in there, alleviating a Manchester United defence of some pressure. Mikel, is it in a way easier to play against former teammates? I'm talking about Maguire and Vardy here, given that Maguire might know his teammates' game, or he likely does know his teammates' game inside out. Did you have any experiences with that? Did you find it easier at all?
Yeah, sure. I've been playing against Thierry Henry for many times. And I know Thierry from the age of 16. We've been playing youth national football together, under 18, under 20s. So I've had, there was no tricks that I wouldn't know about him. But still, that helped because he's a top player, you know. So it was always a great challenge. But that definitely is something that you use. You know your teammates, your former teammates' weaknesses and strengths. So you need to show your intelligence and use it. Vardy knows.
Oh. I'm not sure Maguire was showing his intelligence there, Mikel. He's just come straight through the back of Kelechi and he's picked up a yellow card for his endeavours. Under 10 minutes, McCubbin, and Maguire being on a yellow card against the likes of Jamie Vardy. That doesn't bode great.
No, that's not what we need at all. Obviously, Maguire's been, a real leadership figure at the back this season. He's been pretty composed in most games. Obviously, he's prone to the odd mistake here and there, and he's been picked up on that. But all in all, he's improved that defence so much this season. And you saw it on was far and away in play. Considering that Leicester are looking quite dangerous actually in these opening stages, that's not good at all. But he's a mature enough guy. I back him to see out the rest of the game with hopefully fairly few problems.
Yeah, they're passing out from the back very confidently here. Leicester. I just worry about Leicester without Maddison, and we can talk about how hard it is trying to play without someone of his calibre very shortly. But let's go over to Social Corner to see what you guys are saying at home.
Do you want a goals update, Chris? Well, you're getting one. Liverpool are losing to Newcastle United after 13 seconds. The White Gale, prolific Championship striker.
Wow.
Maybe not the best Premier League striker, but he's got the chances to do that. And, it's been ruled out. Norwich were 1-0 playing Man City, but it's been VAR'd, as they call it in the business. So that's back to 0-0. And maybe there's a little hangover there from Liverpool and Manchester City. But yeah, plenty of questions flying in. Get your hashtags in. Get your questions in on the hashtag TFS. Giles Smith said, would missing out on the Champions League be a disaster for Manchester United? Let's start with you, Mikel.
Yeah, it would be. It would be a big blow, but look, again, there is another way to get there, which the club did already, which is winning the Europa League. But no, it would be a disaster. I think you guys touched on that. I think the team is at a tipping point where they need to go back into the Champions League, simply because that's a standard for Manchester United. If they want to stay with the Barcelona, the Real Madrid, the Juventus of this world, they need to be there every season. So it's really important they go back. Not only they go back, because going back into the Champions League and not feature and not reach the quarter-final, the semi-final is not good enough. So there is a lot to be done still. But yeah, it's a massive game. It is a massive game for Manchester United.
Oh, I'm hearing cries of anguish from Will Brazier. What just happened, buddy?
Yeah, West Ham through on goal. Lovely ball over the top by Diop. Antonio splits the centre-backs, brings it down beautifully on his right. 1-on-1 with Pepe Reina. The form he's in, you put your mortgage on. I haven't got one, thank God, because he missed, and it's still 0-0 at the London Stadium.
There we have it.
It's a save, I think.
Was it a save?
Pepe Reina rolling back the years.
Pepe Reina rolling back the years, indeed.
Just to continue our conversation about Harry Maguire, Mikel. Now, of course, he arrived to much fanfare and for a lot of money. What have you made of his season? Because I think he's unfairly criticised in some quarters. What are your thoughts on Harry Maguire and his debut campaign at United as a centre-back?
Look, clearly the back four needed a leader, someone to solidify and stop conceding goals. So I think the team has improved in that way. Still, as a unit, they need some work to be done. I mean, Wan-Bissaka is new as well to this level. So the more they play together, the better. It's going to take some time. But for Harry, he's a tough defender.
Wow.
I think they still.
Oh, no.
Wow, what was that?
Wilfred Ndidi narrowly over.
Yeah.
From the edge of the box after Matic ceded possession.
Careless pass.
Passed it to Kelechi, and it eventually found Ndidi, and not known for his blistering long-range strike, the Nigerian central midfielder puts it over. An early let-off for Manchester United. And McCubbin, an outside bet as a potential Manchester United player next season, Wilfred Ndidi. A lot of people have spoke about him as the player to sort of unlock Pogba's full potential, so he doesn't have to be the one at the base of a midfield. What would you make in regards to spending, 60, 70 million on a player like Wilfred Ndidi?
Oh, I'd 100% back it. I was really keen for United to go in for him last summer. I mean, in some ways, it's probably better that he had that extra year at Leicester, just because he's solidified his place further, I guess. He's playing with more developed midfielders now in Yuri Tielemans and James Maddison ahead of him. So he's come on a lot, especially in his ball playing this season. There's no doubt about it. He's one of the top midfielders in Europe for me. I guess the one in this summer is that if United are going all out Sancho, which is something that I back more in some ways, just because I think you do need to strike with a player like Sancho faster, whereas Ndidi, I think I don't feel like Ndidi's going anywhere else this summer as things stand, just because Leicester can afford to price people out of the market for him. So I wouldn't be too impatient. I think you could still feasibly go in for next summer maybe, and do make do with the options in defensive midfield for now. But yeah, I think in the long run, I think United, it's essential that they go in for someone, at least someone near Ndidi's level. In defensive midfield, it's as we've seen there. Like Matic has had a great second half of the season, no doubt about that. But he is turning 32 in the next couple of weeks, and for me, I just don't see it's unfair on him to expect him to hold down that place for the next 2 years. It's just it's not feasible in my eyes if United are really serious about kind of challenging consistently.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a pretty sensible conclusion. Brighton shooting wide there after a switch from his left back counterpart, Luke Thomas. Of course, has been great since coming into the team. Couple of errors against Tottenham, but we'll forgive him for that because he's still very green. But nice to see him get a run out and to see Leicester blood some youth. I think we could all agree it'd be catastrophic for Leicester if they lost a player of Wilfred Ndidi's magnitude. Leicester have sort of very few Champions League components, in my opinion, and he is one of them. In your new role, Mikel, as Director of Football at Manchester United, which we have confirmed live on the Football Social in an exclusive, what do you think about pursuing a player like Wilfred Ndidi?
What do you mean?
Do you think he'd fit this United side well? Would you spend the money on him?
I mean, you have McTominay, you have Fred, you have Matic. I think you need a better player than Ndidi.
Okay.
At United, I think that's what it's gonna take. If you want to compete with Liverpool for the title, you want to win the Champions League again. I like Ndidi. He's doing great for Leicester, running a lot, covering a lot of ground, protecting the back four. He's got great energy. But I think for United, you need better than that.
Okay,
so
great.
That's just my view.
Well, we have a split camp then. We have McCubbin, Pro, and Ndidi. We have Mikel, who'd like to see, maybe McTominay or Fred get a chance or someone else be brought in. What do you guys think? Let Will know, and we'll pitch your potential transfer ideas to Director of Football, Mikel Silvestre. Will, let's go over to Social Corner for some questions now, please, buddy.
Yeah, and there's been a goal down at the bottom as well. It's changing all the time. Josh King has scored for Bournemouth, which puts them above Watford. Richarlison handballed the ball in the box. Josh King converted the penalty, so it means if West Ham score against Villa, just trying to work out on my head. I've got a very small brain, so it did take me a while. Bournemouth would be staying up in the Premier League as it stands. Villa are still there. Lots of questions coming in. Thank you for getting them. Use the hashtag TFS. One here from Arthur, a lovely name. He says, are there any similar character or tactical traits between Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Sir Alex? What do you make of that, Mikel?
So I wasn't listening. I was focusing on the
At least you're honest.
At the referee.
That's fine. You won't be the first, Mikel. Lots of people asking about the similarities between Sir Alex Ferguson and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Just wondered if you could share any light if there's tactical or character traits that are similar.
There is nothing alike. Nothing at all. Where is this question coming from?
Listen, no Wilfred Ndidi and no comparisons between Solskjaer and Ferguson for the rest of this stream,
totally
all right?
different.
Mikel has spoken.
Totally different people in character and way of management, for sure. The same determination, yes. The same ideas about what United is about and what they want to achieve on the field, for sure. But the same methods, the same way of talking and management, not at all. I don't think you have Ole with the hairdryer, and you have it's another way of leading for Ole, for sure. Everybody has his style. You can't. I don't think we can compare. We can similarities, not much.
What was
Hopefully
it about
the same
Sir
result.
Alex Ferguson's style that you liked, Mikel? Obviously, you were there for a long time. What was it about his managerial
I'm going to be
style you
honest with
enjoyed?
you. Yeah, I've always need someone to push me, to get into my face sometimes and tell me I was really bad to improve, or I was out of what I was supposed to achieve. So Alex is exactly this type of manager. He won't take a few minutes to explain to you, straight to your face, and tell you if you are wrong or right. And he's always pushed me to achieve and to give my best every day. And during those nine seasons at United, so it was a perfect manager for me.
Can you remember one incident in particular where he pushed you, or he said something that got a reaction from you or resonated with you?
Yeah, no, it didn't take too long for me to get the hairdryer. It was maybe my second game for United. I made a huge mistake, and we conceded the equalizer from Southampton at home. And I've had a good game, but that mistake cost us 2 points. 2 points at home. So he said, my English wasn't so good, but I understood clearly. He said, if you do that again, you're gonna go back in France and stay there forever. He was serious, huh?
Wow.
He was serious. But I stayed. I didn't go to France.
How was it trying to understand Ferguson when you're learning English with his thick Glaswegian accent? Was it a nightmare?
Yeah, it was tough, especially the first time we spoke. I was national duty under 21s in Ukraine and Albania, and I got the call from Sir Alex, and his broken French, my broken Scottish. The discussion was about 2 minutes long, not more than that. But I understood that he was interested in signing me. And after that, to be honest, it took me much more time to understand Nicky Butt than Sir Alex. The Mancunian accent sometimes with the Wesley Brown, Nicky was tough to understand.
What was tougher? Glaswegian or Mancunian?
Mancunian was tougher.
Wow.
And I was just about to ask, Mikel, so you mentioned Sir Alex Ferguson rang you when he was interested. I've read that you turned down Liverpool to join Manchester United as well. So what was your thinking at that time? If that's true.
You have to... Yeah, it's true. I've had... Jaouye was my coach with the national team under 23s. So we knew each other. We've been also we've been together at the World Cup under 20s in Malaysia. Whoa.
Huh?
Oh, what is
God?
What's the head on there?
What's going on?
I'm not sure what Kelechi's done there. I was too busy listening to Mikel to unravel that situation.
It looks like my finish.
Yeah, I mean, we're just running through the chance again now. So it's a great counter attack by Leicester. Iheanacho's done great to hold on to the ball and to get away from his man. He's left Pogba in the dust.
The ground.
And then
you see, that's why we need Ndidi.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
it's true.
Leicester have just passed up a fantastic opportunity, and De Gea almost made a hash of the first shot, maybe not anticipating the fact that Kelechi Iheanacho would dig out the turf. Okay, and then a little argument between Vardy and De Gea ensuing afterwards, but Vardy loves a bit of that, doesn't he? McCubbin, did you think you were 1-0 down then before the water break?
That was, yeah, I was it was hot in mouth. Here we go. I think Arsenal are 2-0 up.
Yeah,
go on,
Arsenal
Will.
2-0 up.
Arsenal 2-0 up. Oh, Kieran Tierney.
Watford basically down now.
KT.
They need a miraculous turnaround to stay up in the Premier League. So mainly now it's between Aston Villa and Bournemouth. Bournemouth 1-0 up. And if Villa are to concede, they'd go into the relegation.
Oh, I love that. Kieran Tierney goal. Anyway, sorry, what were we talking about, Mike? The chance prior to the water break where Kelechi Iheanacho is digging a trench.
Yeah, Yeah, I was pretty scared there because it was 3-on-2 at one point, and got off lightly. But yeah, it's a little bit of a worry actually. Leicester have been able to break a few times, and that midfield is just not as well covered as it has been in weeks gone by. Obviously, people have talked a lot about United's players being quite fatigued, and even in this game, although I do think United have been probably better on the whole than in the West Ham game, you're still seeing passes go astray. You saw that mistake from Matic earlier. Marcus Rashford's the only attacker I think who's really completing passes consistently in the final third. So it's far from an ideal performance from United so far. It's quite disjointed. I was a little bit worried there, to say the least. But I'm staying positive.
Yeah.
I'm staying positive. I can see.
Nice.
I can only see United's attackers at least kind of growing into this game.
Lack of defensive cover in that situation though. But we've got the people at home coming with another price boost, my friends. So let's get that ready for the people at home right now. Look at that, slick as you like. Manchester United to win both halves. Someone's trying to annoy me in the gallery. 10-1. Odds accurate at the time of recording and are subject to change. You have to be 18 plus to play along. Apart from that counter-attack, that is looking pretty positive at the moment. Like McCubbin said, Manchester United not in total control of this game, but looking quite comfortable. Will, are you sitting comfortable in Social Corner? How's life, mate?
Yeah, I'd like an Everton equaliser, and then I'd be very comfortable. But yeah, lots of questions flying in thick and fast. Try and dig some better ones out from Mikel, because he's picking out these questions and he wants the best, and we're going to give him the best. One here from David Canterbury for you, Mikel. He says, what do you make of the current situation at Arsenal? Will they get back to where they were under Mikel Arteta?
The one thing that I can tell you is that all the players are very positive about the work that is being done, and they like the way the manager has brought some fresh air, and they are believing in the project of bringing back Arsenal where they was before. So that's a good start, because you have the players on board, and you just need to work and try to improve the squad. So yeah, they've been struggling financially to really, I think, strengthen the midfield. For me, that's where they'll be struggling, and also the heart of the defense. But if he's given enough funds to do that, and I think he will be given time. So they have a chance to get closer to where they should be next season. They can still win the cup. They have a good chance to do it. So that wouldn't be such a bad start for Mikel Arteta, But again, it's a consistency for these teams to get to, because right now at the top level, City and Liverpool have been consistent. There's only 2 or 3 blips per season. You can't afford to do more, otherwise you lose ground, you lose confidence, and that's it, you're out of the race. The amount of points you need to win the league right now is just crazy the last few years. So that's it. It's all about the quality of the squad and the consistency you need to get. The rhythm is 3 points every single week, and you need to catch.
Mikel, have you got any insight on the latest signing in Saliba for us, who of course is playing in Ligue 1? Well, he was playing in Ligue 1 before the season finished this season, returning to his parent club in the summer. Is that a good buy by Arsenal?
Yeah, I think it's a good buy. He's been progressing steadily. He started very early, and the fact that he's joining a defense where you have the likes of David Luiz and Papastastopoulos and Mustafi, they will show him what he's missing at the moment, which is experience. So I think he's suited for what Mikel Arteta wants to do. He likes. He's a big guy, strong in the 1v1, and he's very cool on the ball. So Arsenal, most of the top teams now they build from the back, and he can do that. without a problem. But obviously, when you play Ligue 1, you play against Mbappe, you play against Neymar, but the rest of the strikers are not world class like in the Premier League, where you face Rashford, you face Kane, you face Aguero, you face Salah, Firmino. So it's when you are a young player coming from France, that's going to be overwhelming the first season, but hopefully we'll get over that very quickly.
Do you think it will be slightly easier for him playing in a back three? Because, I mean, fans and pundits always make out that it's much easier for a defender playing in that system. But I wanted to get your insight as someone that played left back, left centre half. Like, what are the benefits to a defender playing in a back three? And is it as easy as people make out, or is it easier than people make out?
It depends.
Wait.
Wow.
Offside. I think he might be offside.
Offside.
What a touch.
I saw that building when I was asking you the question. So I'll ask you again, Mikel. Can you unravel playing in a back three for us?
No, but it's always. The easy spot for any defender in the back three is the one in the middle, because you have less ground to cover in terms of energy and ground to cover. You are the most relaxed in that aspect. But then you have to be clever in terms of covering your teammates and stepping up in midfield sometimes, because normally your midfield will be outnumbered at some stages. So I don't know. I would put David in the middle and Saliba on his right or his left. And he can play both sides. But it's a back three is the Italians are the best, because most of the teams, that's the way they play. It's a tough one for the defenders, the three centre backs, because you have to read the situation. My God, this is from one end to
You remained
to the
exceptionally calm then, watching Leicester have a really good opportunity while trying to answer that. Tielemans narrowly shooting
I'm glad
past
he
the
wasn't
post.
Vardy on the ball.
Again, Leicester, it feels like they could have made more of this opportunity, McCubbin. That was
Yeah, definitely. It seems to just be falling. I mean, they're just getting these kind of opportunities on the edge of the box. You would have thought maybe they'd try to build up more and try and find kind of Kelechi or Vardy in a better position there. But also it felt like De Gea didn't necessarily have that covered despite the ball moving at such a slow pace.
Absolute
so that's a little
cutter,
bit of a worry. So it is slightly worrying. I think United to kind of make a bit more of a statement in these final 10 minutes. I don't think Pogba or Bruno are having their best game at the moment. Not really seen them involved enough. That Leicester are cutting through that midfield quite easy. It does feel like that kind of that five that Leicester have are kind of outnumbering them. And I think it's a sort of Pogba and Matic to deal with them on the break. So United really need to find some get some more meaningful possession. I think next 10 minutes.
Yeah, the water break has been the water break's been really good for Leicester, hasn't it? Bruno Fernandez now down on the floor, taking his boot off. Looks to be a tackle from James Justin that's caused the damage, but hopefully it's not lasting. Bruno Fernandez, like we said, has been excellent, and McCubbin and Mikel definitely looking to him in this game to make the difference, as you probably are at home if you're a Manchester United fan. Just to touch back on that conversation about back threes, Mikel, you obviously played with Jaap Stam, you played with Wes Brown in a two. Who was your favourite defensive partner? Who did you have the best chemistry with?
It's not about chemistry; it's about efficiency and having fun. So, really, I don't I didn't have any favorite partner as long as it was working. You know, I played with Marcel Desailly, Lilian Thuram in national team, Rio, Yap, Wes for United, William Gallas for Arsenal. So as long as it's functioning and you have each other's back, that's what matters. And I've had great partners, and I've enjoyed all of them really because they were top players, you know, world class, all of them, and yeah, it's pure pleasure. I played a little bit with Vidic as well, but I mean, partnerships like this, it's a real pleasure.
Yeah,
because the guy next to you is as good as a defender as is on the ball, so you feel relaxed. And I've had good goalkeepers, so it was a pleasure all the time.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you can't pick one front runner from that list. I mean, the likes of Thuram, what a throwback, what a player. Yeah, incredible short list of players there. Okay, Will, have we got any other questions that are perhaps a little bit easier to answer? Mikel really had to rack his brains then.
Yeah, there's lots of goals flying as well. Arsenal 3-0 up now, which basically condemns Watford to Championship football next season. And Aubameyang has scored 2, which puts him level for the Golden Boot at the moment. So Danny Ings hopefully will have something to say about that if you're a Saints fan. And the questions are still flying in thick and fast. Here's one for you, Mikel. It is from Fernando, and he says, Vardy versus Maguire today, is it hard or easy when you come up against the former teammate as you know their game inside out?
We've had this question before, no? Didn't we? Anyway, I'll answer again.
We did. I actually asked that, but it wasn't. Obviously, me and a very intelligent fan are on the same wavelength, Mikel. Mikel, I'm going to answer for him. He said it was easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only got one job, and I'm doing that pretty badly, so I'll find some other questions for you right now. They are flying in thick and fast, like I said. As a Frenchman, would you like to see Mbappe move to the Premier League, Mikel? Please say we've not spoken about that.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's such an exciting player. He would do amazingly well in the Premier League and enjoy himself because he's got so much to give. But who knows? He might come here in the future. But this type of player would be great in the Premier League. I mean, most of the players they end up playing there. I mean, apart from Messi, all the top players at some point come here and join the top clubs here. So it would be great to see Mbappe, for sure.
I mean, we listed off some of the defensive talent you played with, Mikel, but who did you find the hardest man to deal with in attack? And that question stretches to training with Manchester United as well.
The hardest player to defend against.
Yeah, and who was in a match situation and in training with Manchester United.
Right. So you mean a United player?
Yeah, sure. Let's start with who was the hardest to mark in training.
I think Giggsy was unstoppable. Unstoppable Giggsy when he was on the ball. I mean, left, right, just natural ability to maneuver the ball. And because he's been there the entire time I was there, I can tell you that it was, impossible to stop him. Definitely. Definitely a special talent.
How incredible was it seeing him sort of transform from a winger to a central midfielder? Is it something you saw him work consciously on in training?
No, I think it was a natural move, because at some point he was losing his sharpness, and not sharpness, I would say, but the second gear.
Speed.
When you past one player, and then the player, because he's younger, he can make that round back.
I've never gone past the player, Mikel, so I wouldn't know.
Right. So you wouldn't know. But it was a natural transition because also his understanding of the game the older he got, the better he was. So it was good. I think it was beneficial to the club and to him as well. His longevity was incredible, and because he understood that position, I mean, he's had enough time to look at Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, finish.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh,
Like a little sandwich.
He's had enough time to look at these top players to understand the role.
Oh.
Ryan Giggs. I think that's a pretty good answer. I think he'd have been in most people's top three guesses. McCubs, we're seeing quite a lot of good chances created and then snatched at. Do you think it's partly owing to the occasion?
Oh!
I think it's just. I think Leicester closed down Rashford quite well there. To be honest, I think if he'd put that on target, it probably would have been blocked. I think United have just struggled to create good chances in general. To be honest, I mean, from a Leicester standpoint, yeah, for sure, they probably could have taken one of their chances better. Well, looks like Everton have equalised with Bournemouth, but yeah, that was easily United's best chance of the half. I think kind of interesting looping ball from Pogba into the box, which kind of caught the Leicester defence on the bounce, and Rashford anticipated it really well. But yeah, the finish wasn't quite there. But again, I think Leicester probably would have had it covered had he put that on target. But yeah, I think United in general in the last few games, there's been a kind of there's definitely been a noticeable change in whether or whether it's these final few games just trying to grind out results without performing the best. I think it's a little bit of both. Again, a lot of these teams, have really been tested in the last few weeks, and I think that's definitely shown with United. But perhaps I think it's been more noticeable with United because just how good they were at the start of the restart. I think in any other point of the season we just see this as a little blip and wouldn't be worried much. But I think just because the stakes are so high and because of how good United have been in recent weeks, performances like this have worried people a little bit more. But I think it's heartening to see a chance like that. It's nice to see Marcus operating in central areas as well. So yeah, like before, staying positive. But Mikel, I was gonna ask. Obviously, you played in some of the great United teams, and in games like this. What would Sir Alex Ferguson be saying at half time if you were a part of a performance like this in such an important game?
Take your chances. This is not good enough. That's it. You have to score.
Fair.
You have to score to take control. It's really important. And they've had half chances. There was an offside. I mean, this kid, no, not this time. Yeah. You need to score. Take your chance. It's really important. It's crucial. Crucial game like this. You're not gonna get a lot of chances, so you need to make sure you score. So that's why Anthony and Rashi and Greenwood, they need to do that.
And when you
I'd like to go on, McCubbin.
No, I was just going to say, at time in these kind of games, would Ferguson often be? It would be that simple. It would just be like get that goal, or would he go quite detailed kind of tactical changes he wanted to make, or was it very much about just motivating the players, letting them know it's not been good enough so far?
Yeah, no, the players that would underperform or having some mistakes would be told off, and they would have to readjust quickly. Otherwise, they would be off. But sometimes you wouldn't be given the benefit of starting again the second half straight off. Sometimes managers are afraid to have this type of decision. It can be anybody, it can be the best player of your team. Post.
That did look like the post, didn't it? 3 minutes of added time here. We're watching Manchester United put together a series of attacks against Leicester, whose defending looks a lot more frenetic. No, it wasn't a post. It did look like on the angle it was a deflection. It is a Manchester United corner. That was a great block. Potentially Hamza Chowdhury didn't quite catch it there. It could have been one of his midfield counterparts, but it was a good block on an Anthony Martial shot.
Oh! Wow!
Let's go to Will after this corner. Let's stay with it just for now. And it looks like,
Rashford.
oh my goodness, that Marcus Rashford, who has about 6 years in the box to tee up a half volley, has come back out. Leicester clear again, but Rodgers will be looking to get to half time here. This is looking increasingly desperate. Talking of desperate, Will, what just happened, mate?
Yeah, Jefferson Lerma has put Bournemouth back in the league. It's been that long since we've had a score update. Everton have equalised with Moise Keane. That made it 1-1. And then just before half-time, Jefferson Lerma has scored a header. Pickford tried to dive, couldn't get to it. They're winning 2-1. So, as it stands, they're still in the relegation zone, but it's West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0. So they need Villa to lose. And Deeney has scored for Arsenal to keep things interesting there. And that's 3-1 going into half-time. So plenty going on down the bottom. Chelsea have just scored a mirror in my ear.
Go on.
That's all I've got, Chris. There's loads of goals coming in. I've got about Mason Mount has scored for Chelsea, so it is on here now. No more dilly-dallying on the ball. They've both got to go for it. 1-0 Chelsea. What a free kick.
We've just seen the free kick back. Great effort from Mason Mount. No player has scored more goals for Frank Lampard in his fledgling managerial career than Mason Mount. He's played over 50 games as well this season, and he's coming up clutch for them against Wolves. So that is huge. Huge news. So Leicester, desperate need of a victory, aren't they? Which was the case regardless. But Chelsea, huge news for them in terms of sealing their position in the top four. I think we can all agree we'd love to see Chelsea lose and these two teams draw, and live stream Zach Gelab crying after this. It's half time. We're getting some half time scenes now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looking, sanguine. Marcus Rashford knows that he had a hell of an opportunity just before the break to put Manchester United ahead, it was probably the clearest game in the chance, clearest chance in the game, even easy for you to say, which he took pretty well. It was a solid save from Schmeichel, but it has been a little bit edgy at the King Power, hasn't it? And we do have a half-time feature, but let's have a couple of questions for Mikel before we tee that up for you, before we hear from Mason Greenwood. Go on, Will.
Yes, Mikel, obviously Jordan Henderson was announced as the Writers' Player of the Season this year, but we wanted to know, who is your player of the season?
Yeah, I would go again for a Liverpool player, but
indeed,
I think for me it's Van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk. I think he's been rock solid again, and the best player for Liverpool. Because that's when you have the biggest, the strongest defense, the best defense in the league. You have a very good chance to win it. So I would go for him again. But Anderson is very close as well. So he's had a very good season for sure.
Okay, let's take it away then to Mason Mount for a half-time feature. Mason Mount? Mason Greenwood even. I've just ruined all the anticipation for that, haven't I? Let's go to Mason Greenwood.
Mason, let's start with what you're doing at the moment is basically living out every 18-year-old's dream, playing for Manchester United, but doing it very, very well. What's it been like for you?
It's been a challenge really, coming back from obviously the big long break, but I've just got the right people around me. I've got the manager and my teammates, so I feel like with their help I'm just doing the best I can and obviously performing on the pitch and just enjoying my game really.
It's been a little while since you made your debut now for Manchester United, but it's only been relatively recently that you have become a starter and really established yourself. The attention that you seem to have got overnight, was it hard to deal with?
I don't really pay too much attention for like all the talk and stuff, like the media after the games. I'm just, like all the lads here, they're just well grounded and just concentrate on the next games. Really, like once we finish the game on the weekend, we'll analyse it and stuff, go over it. But the stuff in the media doesn't really like caught my eye to any attention really.
Let's talk about what it's like then on the pitch, because you've become part of this very dynamic front three. How much fun is it being one of those three? Yeah,
obviously it's amazing. I've been watching Marcus and Anthony as in the academy, so to be playing alongside them now and just be playing as a front three, obviously it means a lot to me, and just because they're very, very good players, and it's just a nice positive vibe to be around and play with. Marcus has taken quite a similar path to you. What's it like having him there, setting an example? Maybe like, does he give you advice? Yeah, obviously he's a role model to me. He's like basically the person who's like everyone looks up to in the academy. Like the pathway is clear to see, and obviously he's a nice boy. He helps me out a lot, so I'm glad I've got him in the team and to be playing with. This season, you're one goal away from being the first teenager to reach 18 goals for Manchester United. Does that feel special for you? Yeah, obviously it's a big landmark to make, and but the main important thing is just to win the games really, and if it's a score, it's a benefit to me and the team. But obviously I'd hope to break it soon, but yeah. What about your preference in playing position? In that front three, do you mind where you play? Do you have a preference of where you'd like to play? No, I'm not really fussed where I play. It's just wherever the boss tells me to play, really. But I don't mind. I'll play either three, the front three. I don't really mind. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself, we all know him as a legend. Does it help that your boss was a striker? Does he give you a lot of advice? Yeah, obviously it's a benefit for all the attackers really in the club, because he knows what he's doing. He's done it for United, and obviously gives advice before the game and like after training and stuff like that. So it's a big benefit to have a manager who's obviously played for United and obviously been a striker at United as well. Do you ever go to him with specific questions and you think, of all the people that you could ask, Ollie's probably the best one? Yeah, he's one of the best ones. He's done it all for United really. He's won cups, he's scored goals, so it's very good to have as a manager really. Obviously he's a role model to all of us, because he's obviously done it, hasn't he? So it's good to have. A lot of people, from the minute you started playing and they could see what you were like, were comparing you to Robin van Persie and your technique when you're striking the ball. Is it an honour, like when you hear those comparisons? Yeah, it's nice to hear comparisons to him, really, because he's been at United as well. He's been a top forward, but I want to make my own pathway. I want to be my own player, but obviously to be talked about like him, it's nice to hear. What is your strongest foot? I'd say left, in my opinion. Yeah, most of my goals this season have been with my left, but I'm comfortable hitting with my right as well. Well, that's what everybody notices about you, is how comfortable you are with both. So how much work and how much training do you have to put in on your right foot if your left is actually your strongest? Just equal amounts, really. If you do something on the left foot, you obviously got to replicate on the right foot. So just same reps on both sides, really, after training, and just copying each other, really. Just doing whatever I do on my left and my right, just to keep up to date with it. What is it like? I mean, the people that you've worked with in the academy, are they still quite prevalent in your development? Do you still work with those guys? Yeah, obviously you see them around the training ground, and you obviously get messages after games and before games, and they're all important to me, because without all the staff in the academy, I wouldn't have been here today. So I always remember my grassroots really, and where I've come from, and obviously it's good to see him every day and just stop and have a little conversation with him. So it's good. While you're living the dream, you're scoring these ridiculous goals, left foot, right foot, all sorts of different ways. Is it that transition to Premier League football? Do you feel like you're just slotting right in quite comfortably? Yeah, I'd like to say I'm slotting in comfortably, but obviously the league's hard. The teams in the league are very good, so every game's different. There's not many easy games in the league. Every single game's a hard game, so it's hard to sometimes get into it early on straight away, but when you play a couple of games, you're more relaxed and more focused, and it's easy from there.
Oh, nice.
Apologies if you can hear the rain beating incessantly on my window. My computer is in the worst place possible. I'm just going to confess now. I'm right beneath a skylight. So you're going to have to deal with it until this cloud passes. And there's a cloud over the stream at the minute because Mikel's disappeared. But we will find him. We have guys in the studio with particular skill sets, a little bit like Liam Neeson, who will find him and they'll reconnect him. Will, anyway, what is Social Corner saying? Have we got any Manchester United specific questions for McCubbin? Keep us ticking over.
Well, I was going to fly the other way, actually, with Chelsea 2-0 up and not many people predicting it at the start of the season, McCubbin. How do you rate Frank Lampard's job as Chelsea manager for this first season?
Yeah, I think I don't think anyone can really complain too much. I think Chelsea could have been better at points this season for sure. I think the defence and especially the goalkeeper position's been a little bit troubled. But considering lost Hazard obviously last summer, limited time in the transfer market as well. I think the signings that they did make in Kovacic, he's been brilliant. So yeah, I think Lampard's done a really good job. I think it's tough to judge whether he'll actually be able to take this Chelsea team to the next level yet. But similar to Solskjaer and Arteta, clearly he's popular with the players. He's a decent manager, and he's managed to improve some of those young players, especially Mason Mount, who's been excellent since the restart. So yeah, I think as first seasons go, I think he's passed, and if he can get Champions League football as looks likely now, he's done more than what was expected of him.
Yeah, nice. Similar sentiments really about Chelsea, Will. So I mean, it's really interesting to see that Frank Lampard has actually improved their underlying numbers from a statistical point of view, which we obviously like to look in on Football Daily. I don't think many of us anticipated him particularly improving the attack, for example. They're having more shots under Frank Lampard than they are Sarri, which is fascinating, and facing fewer shots. So they're a really complete side at the moment. So he's definitely performed above expectation. But I do agree with Jamie Carragher in that their progress is probably limited if they keep Kepa in goal, whose save percentage is absolutely woeful. Now, Mikel, you played exclusively with wonderful goalkeepers. Well, maybe not, throughout your Manchester United career. Is it just a little bit of a myth that is sort of over-egged by the press, or does that lack of confidence from the goalkeeper, does it in fact spread to the back three, back four quite easily? Is it almost contagious?
I think defensively, the goalkeeper will make saves or he won't. That doesn't really affect your performances. So as a back four, you try to defend the goal the best you can. Okay, the more direction you have from your goalkeeper, the better it is. But then for me, it's more about the offensive play. Because when you have that confidence in your goalkeeper that you can position yourself on the side of the pitch or in between two strikers, and you're going to receive a nice ball on the ground that you can play, you will be given also the direction or the information about what's going on your back if you didn't check. I think for me it's more important than in terms of bringing confidence to the side. Obviously, top goalkeepers will have great saves and will be there for the big games. But for me, I was more looking at your question. I think for me, you can judge. The answer for me is more in the offensive play, because the first attacker is a goalkeeper, and nowadays the goalkeeper without good feet is very problematic for keepers and for the entire team.
Now that's fascinating, because that is where Kepa sort of starkly contrasts with the other two goalkeepers who previously set world record breaking transfer fees in Alisson and Ederson. We can actually, before we have any questions, we can get an update of the half-time scores, guys, because Will's been keeping you up to date, but we might as well go through them right now to give you guys the full picture at home. So Watford, of course, losing to Arsenal. Perhaps one of the more interesting scorelines is Chelsea 2, Wolves 0. We spoke about the Mason Mount free kick, but Giroud added to Chelsea's total shortly before the whistle was blown. And Everton are now again trailing to Bournemouth, who are putting in an incredible shift at Goodison on match day 38. And Norwich's lead over Manchester City was very fleeting and never to be seen again. Let's have a half-time price boost then. Okay, so we're revisiting some of our previous price boosts, and there's some new ones in there for good measure as well. We have Vardy to score the first goal, who's not really had a sniff, actually. Leicester's main attacking threat, well, not attacking threat, Leicester's best opportunities coming from Ndidi and Tielemans in the midfield with sort of speculative efforts. Greenwood to score the first goal. Fernandez to score a penalty. Chowdhury to be carded. Now, I'm a big fan of Chowdhury, but he does love a yellow card, doesn't he? That was 3-1, now 7-2. He's definitely added some energy to Leicester's midfield. He's been snapping into tackles, as to be expected. And Maguire to be sent off. Of course, he did get yellow carded in the first half, very early doors. That's now 10-1, odds accurate at the time of recording, and are subject to change. We're seeing live pictures from the King Power now. Leicester coming out of the pitch nice and early. Oh, Manchester United already out there. So both teams out there chomping at the bit to secure Champions League football. Ready, which is, of course, the slogan of Rangers Football Club. Just the one word always gets me, tickles me every time I cover. But let's go over to Will. Let's have some questions before the restart. Go on, mate.
Yes, Mikel, one for you. Obviously, with your French hat on, obviously we should have had the major tournament this season, but we've got to wait for the Euros next season. Do you put France in the pole position to win the tournament?
Well, in the pole position, yeah. We have to. I mean, not a lot of changes. A young squad still, same manager. So France should be there to conquer that trophy.
Mikel, I've just had a bit of a brainwave. We were talking about transfer targets earlier, and of course you are considering that role as director of football from Ed Woodward, which is a joke I'm definitely not going to drop. 100% not exhausted that yet. Who would you opt for over Jadon Sancho and Kingsley Coman, who has been linked? We don't know how solid the info is, but has been linked with Manchester United.
Yeah, my only worry about Kingsley is the injuries, the amount of injuries he's getting. Not because he's not taking care of his body, it's just because that's the way he's been built. He's super fast, and his hamstring it was unfortunate sometimes, ankle issues. I mean, the Bundesliga is not easier in terms of demand and physique than Bayern Munich has a hectic calendar, a lot of games they play every season. But that's, for me, that would be really where I would be careful in terms of which player we should go for.
I mean, on the subject of being careful there, Mikel, Manchester United almost got through. I said on the subject of being careful, what happened there? And Manchester United almost got in there.
Yeah, great pass from Matic, Eden Anthony, it's a great comeback by Justin.
That is an incredible intervention by James Justin. Well played, young man. Anthony Martial was in there after a lovely line-breaking pass from Nemanja Matic after he slalomed through Leicester's attack. And now Leicester on the attack. This is the second half we want, gentlemen.
Here we go.
This is the send-off that Football Daily and Football Social deserve. Jamie Vardy winning a throw-in in a good position from Lindelof. What are we talking about then? We're talking about Kingsley Coman versus Jadon Sancho. All things considered, McCubbin, say Jadon Sancho cost double and bringing in Coman meant you could bring in another player.
Go on.
Would you consider him instead of Sancho?
Not really, to be honest. I think if it was another, potentially world-class winger, maybe, but I just think Sancho is that good that I think you just have to go for him. If for whatever reason you can't go for Sancho, then sure, go for Coman. But I think if it's a choice of getting in Sancho or getting in Coman and getting in maybe another midfielder or whatever, or just go for Sancho, I think you just go for Sancho, to be honest, because you might not get another chance at him. And whatever the difference is between Coman, whatever kind of leftover money you get from going for Coman, I don't think you're going to necessarily upgrade enough in another position in the way that you're going to upgrade that attack with Sancho. I think that you're safeguarding that attack for the next 7 years if you buy Sancho. Like, really, you are. You've got him and Greenwood as options on the right. So, I'm very much behind just going for Sancho. If for whatever reason Sancho's impossible, then yeah, sure, go for Coman. But I think if you're kind of prioritising squad building, I just don't think Sancho is a player to really scrimp on, to be honest. I think you just go for him.
McCubbin has spoken. Get the checkbook out, Ed Woodward. Get Jadon Sancho
exactly
back to British shores on the right-hand side for Manchester United. And this game's restarted at a really nice pace. And Leicester look really fired up. So hopefully we get a goal soon. Both teams making errors in possession. But let's go back to Social Corner. And Will, I know this is quite ambitious, only 5 minutes in, but nothing's happened in the other games, no?
Yeah, no, nothing as of note. Villa just going stronger to start the second half. Bruno has scored for Manchester City. It's a goal, not the assist he wanted to tie Thierry Henry's record. But Chris, we'll start with you on this question. Do you think Leicester may actually benefit from the Europa League long term as opposed to the Champions League?
No, not really. I mean, in terms of, and if you're going to be sort of generous, maybe in terms of they've not got much European pedigree, so building up experience, they've got a fairly young squad. It might be better for them to go deeper in a slightly easier competition and rack up that experience than face the likes of PSG, Juventus, so on and Barcelona, so on and so forth, and sort of maybe face a little bit of a battering. But Leicester, I think their transfer policy would change pretty wildly if they qualified for the Champions League. So they're not exactly strapped for cash, are they? The Champions League, like we said at the start of the show, is an extra £45 million, but it might mean retaining Maddison. It might mean retaining Chilwell. It might mean that you can, convince a young prodigy to give Leicester a chance and a guarantee that they'll be able to showcase their skills in club football's biggest competition. Europa League for them, they don't really make much of a leap at all in terms of maybe their perception or their finances, but it might serve some of the current squad okay. At the start of the season, though, Will, I think if you offered Brendan Rodgers a one-off game against Manchester United at the end of the campaign to secure Champions League football at home, he probably would have taken it. So let's not lose sight of how much progress has been made.
Lovely stuff. I actually said to you, Chris, that Leicester would finish top four, and you called me stupid. And I've got that on video, which I will be putting out online tonight.
That doesn't sound like something I'd say to you as one of my most valued friends, mate, on the football side.
I don't think we were friends at the time, but that's a personal issue. We will work through it. Lots of questions flying in. There's one here. We'll start with you, McCubbin. Let's start with you, McCubbin, because you are, I guess. No offence, McCubbin. Tom says, what do United need to change for the second half?
Who is it to?
You, Mikel.
I told you before, they need to score. It's simple football, you need to score. What else do you want? I mean, they are, sometimes they've had to face counterattacks. Matic and Pogba, none of them are really staying in front of the back, or at least striking back or protecting the back four. So there's no Fred or McTominay today. So that's where they have to be careful. Other than that, yeah, there was Martial, there was Rashford. Opportunities need to be taken. You need to score. I mean, a draw is enough today, so it's okay. No panic.
Will, you really need to dictate your questions to people a lot more clearer, because I don't think Mikel's going to take any more of that, mate. To be perfectly honest, I'm going to give him your location, and you're going to get 2-footed if you ask such a basic question again, mate.
That's right. If we're scoring goals, I might get into it myself.
Sylvester and Yapstam are going to come round your gaff, mate, and turn you into dust.
I'll take it, but I've got 2 Villa fans in there that are primed and ready to go. So if we want a 3-on-2 handicap, I'm ready to go.
Oh, good stuff. Leicester are actually looking. McCubbin, I'm hoping that Man United. I mean, you've picked up on this. Ollie's played the same squad an awful lot. Paul Pogba, there's been a massive onus on him to play a lot of football, despite not having racked up an awful lot of minutes prior to the lockdown. I'm hoping that Manchester United are tiring out now, because Leicester are looking a little bit more prominent at the start of this second half.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got Iosi Perez coming on there.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think United might tire. Although, to be honest, in the last 10 minutes of that first half, I thought United looked way more together up front, especially the passing was coming together. You saw that Matic ball for the Martial chance. I think United actually looked better, and yeah, for sure. Generally speaking, they've looked a bit tired, and of course, as we saw with the West Ham game, it's questionable whether how much trust Ollie really has on his bench. He only made 2 subs on the night, despite a lot of tired legs on the pitch. So it's pretty obvious that Solskjaer is not overly keen to change this team up. Having said that, I think this lineup is looking brighter towards the end of the first half and the start of the second. So I wouldn't be changing anything at this moment in time from a United perspective. But I think if it gets to 65 minutes and the pace drops, then you could maybe bring on Fred in midfield or perhaps McTominay just to steady the ship a little bit, because if it does stay 0-0 for another 20-25 minutes, then United do need to start thinking about protecting that draw. As much as it pains me to say it, because that's going to be real squeaky bum time in the last 10 minutes, and I really do not want that.
Protecting draws against Manchester United. You're supposed to be a purist, mate. You're also a Barcelona fan.
I am
protecting draws at the King Power. Shocking.
Mate, we've got to get UCL by any means necessary, and I do not want to be watching Europa League with that, with that obligation to win it. I just want to enjoy watching the Europa League. But no, I think that's the tough thing with United is that the bench really isn't strong enough, or at least there's not the players on the bench, I don't think, that just easily slot into this team. I think that this team functions very well as it is, and there's not. You don't look at that bench and be like, okay, they can just do that job. You can bring on Ighalo if you need a little bit of more presence up front, but he's not going to do the same job as Martial. You can bring on McTominay, but he doesn't have the passing range of Matic. There's not really any upgrades on the bench. There's not really necessarily anyone who's going to make a huge difference on the bench, I don't think, at least on current form. So I guess that's where Brendan Rodgers maybe has a little bit of the upper hand, because he can call on someone like Harvey Barnes or Iosi Perez on the bench, who might be able to make a bit more of a difference than, say, Daniel James can.
Yeah. There's been an interesting little in-game adjustment here. Well, Manchester United, as soon as we sort of noticed Leicester had wrestled control of the game, Matic seemed to slot in at right centre-back, and you went to a back 3 then for just 2 or 3 minutes, and it seems to have enabled, Man United to have a bit of respite. So interesting, Matic using his experience maybe to bring Leicester into this game, and Martial almost going through. And like you said, it does look like Brendan Rodgers is going to utilise some of his subs. We saw Iosi Perez getting warmed up. We saw Dennis Pratt getting instruction. He's not really been a very good signing. I mean, he's not had ample opportunity, but not really done much since arriving from Sampdoria. So if he played a part in securing Champions League football today, all would be forgiven. But here comes Perez, and I have berated him for the last 10 weeks, so he is of course going to come on and score the winner. Lecce Iheanacho, normally the victim of an early Brendan Rodgers substitution. Mikel, do you agree with Michael McCubbin that Manchester United should wait to make their substitutions, or do you think Ollie should be a bit more proactive right now?
No, I think I agree, because the last 10-15 minutes of the first half were promising. So they need to keep going and find that goal and do it finally, because otherwise I don't think the team is built to absorb the pressure and play for the draw. It's never been United's mentality. I don't think Ole has been approaching that game in that way. I think the best defense is, or even the best way to think about the draw, is still continuing to attack. Obviously, you need to protect your defense and David, but I think Matic and Pogba are mature enough to do that. You don't need to bring another player straight in. We will see towards the end. Maybe Ole will be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that guy on a social." And protect his
the sporting director on the social. When Ollie's
watching us on his iPad,
that's what he's watching. Yeah. Exactly. So the words out of my mouth. So Leicester with a free kick in a promising position here. While we wait for it to be swung in, Mikel, we spoke about goalkeepers prior, but do you back David De Gea to rediscover his form, or is it time to bring in Dean Henderson back from his loan spell at Sheffield?
I mean, you need to give David some time to rediscover his confidence.
Oh my God! I thought you jinxed it there, Mikel. I thought you jinxed him.
Almost did.
So, I mean, Tielemans' free kick dropping way short. It was not a good free kick. Jamie Vardy turned it into a very good chance with the crown of his head somehow hitting the upright. And an orthodox header, but it was effective and a sign that Leicester are growing in confidence in this game. We were talking about Dean Henderson and David De Gea. So you're saying that, I mean, David De Gea has done enough.
David's been the best player. The best player for 4 seasons in a row, 4-5 seasons in a row, which is, by the way, not a good sign when your goalkeeper is the best player at your club. So he has that credit, you know.
Yeah, me. As much as I like to pretend that I'd love to see Brendan Rodgers in the Europa League, I do want Leicester to win, heart of hearts. I'd love Brendan Rodgers back at Celtic Park for an away night in Europe. That'd be absolute carnage. Oh, Youri Tielemans passing up a good opportunity. Decent build-up play by Perez. Leicester, again, looking much more proactive. Let's hope these changes actually come to something, amount to something. Will, what's happening in the other games and what's happening on Social Corner, buddy?
Yeah, lots of goals coming in. Newcastle are losing now. Van Dijk equalised for Liverpool and Divock Origi has scored for them. Southampton have equalised against Sheffield United, but it's not Danny Ings, it's Shea Adams, so he needs a goal to get himself up there for the old golden boot. And then in the relegation battle, Aston Villa holding on at the moment. It's been quite a dominant second half performance by West Ham. They're pushing heavily. Goal for Villa would just make things so much easier for them. And Burnley have equalised at Brighton in a game that, if anyone's watching it, you'd either be a Burnley or a Brighton fan. Lots of questions coming in. There's one here from Schalke. For you, McCubbin, are you excited to play Leeds United next season? Since we last spoke, obviously, McCubbin, they're back in the big time.
Leeds.
Yeah, I am excited. Sorry,
what did you say? Sorry there, Mikel.
The question's for me. Yeah, great fixture. Leeds United, top club in the Premier League. It's great to see them back and to have them be part of that crazy league. You know, crazy fans, but good. I mean, good as a opponent, adversary. I think Leeds is a tough ground to visit. but it's so much. It's so much. They bring so much excitement to the game. They sing the entire time. They are tough with the opponents, but doesn't matter. It's for the benefit of the game. I love Ellen Road.
Like a 50-50 in the mid-noughties, Mikel Silvestre snapping that question up. McCubbin, what about you? You're starting to answer.
Yeah,
about Leeds. Go on, mate.
Yeah, no, I broadly agree. To be honest, I'm buzzing to see them back. Which I know there are a lot of United fans online, especially, who seem to think that looking forward to playing Leeds in the Premier League is a cardinal sin, and you should just kind of wish them to eternally be in the depths of the Football League. But I don't agree at all with that. I think Leeds are a massive club, or at least they're one of the bigger clubs in English football history. They share some great rivalries, especially with United. They've got a manager, Marcelo Bielsa, who a lot of us have been really anticipating in the Premier League. I never really thought it was going to come. I thought it would be too good to be true. But to see a manager of his stature come into the Premier League in this fashion, it's just great to see. And that was not good. Was that Paul Pogba who gave that away? I'm not sure, but
yes.
But yeah, I'm buzzing. Like mainly for Bielsa, to be honest. It's going to be great to see him, manage in the league and manage against Pep Guardiola, who he had such a big influence on. I think it's good for the Premier League ultimately to have Leeds in there.
Yeah, agreed. Just watching this situation unfold. No, it is a goal kick. So you mentioned you enjoyed playing at Ellen Road there, Mikel. What were some other games? And I also noted that you scored on your you scored your first Arsenal goal against Tottenham. So I wanted to ask you, which derby did you prefer, the Manchester derby or the North London derby?
The Milan derby.
The Milan derby.
Oh.
What was the atmosphere? Was the atmosphere special at that one, or
yeah.
Are you just trying to play with me? You're toying.
No, very special because the animosity between the fans is crazy, and the build up to the game. I mean, both games this season. Living in Milan and being part of that is really something special, because people, over there, it's football is the life of a lot of people. So I'll tell you one story. I went one day to park my car in just going shopping in the center of Milan. Go to park my car, usual spot, and it's someone who's parking the cars. And that person that I talked to from time to time, he went and said, "I don't feel good. Really, this is difficult for me." So I got scared. I was like, "Oh, what's going on? He's got health issues." And he said, "The team is playing so bad that I don't feel well at all. Like, he's getting into me. I could see his face. I was, oh my God." So that's how they live football. It affects them so much, and you keep hearing about those two games the entire season, the entire time. You go shopping, they look at what you have in your trolley, make sure you eat healthy food. I mean, it's mental.
So that was obviously a special derby, but do you remember any special fixtures? Is the one that stands out in your mind, maybe on English shores in the Premier League then, that you remember, for fond reasons?
For fun reasons.
It can be either. It can be either. Just one that sticks out in the mind, for the right or wrong reasons. Then.
No, the Ellen Road visit with United. My first visit there, my second visit there. I mean, you're on the bus and people are telling you, be careful, they're throwing stones. So, you know, what's going on?
Yeah.
Where are we going? And then, I was playing sometimes left back, so you go pick up the ball and the crowd is just hammering you with a lot of insults. I mean, football insults, not nothing bad, but just, you feel the animosity and it's really...
Here we go.
Oh, Papi.
Hey,
Penalty. Johnny. Thank you, Johnny.
Yes. Oh.
No.
Doing it for United. He's
I
doing
was
it
just
for
about
United.
to say. I was just about to say, great tackle.
Let's have a look.
Chris.
Yeah, we'll check it.
Absolutely.
Great work from Greenwood there.
That's a Will Brazier tackle.
Oh, it is.
Big toe.
You got the ball or
Huge,
not?
huge
Nah.
big toe on that.
And where's Morgan as well coming in?
Yeah, there was another penalty following shortly after that tackle. So anyway, right, we're just
Surely.
watching it on VAR now because this is a huge moment in the game. They are taking a look at Stockley Park as to whether Johnny Evans got a touch or not, whether there's any deviation on the ball. That is not the best angle. That's not very pro Leicester, that angle. It looks like a dead cert from that angle. I've got to say, this is the most I've seen VAR utilised in terms of different
The
cameras
ball
around
is
the
touched
pitch
by someone,
to-
but I don't know who it is.
to arrive at a decision. Mikel, give us your footballing sixth sense there. Is that a penalty or not?
It looks like it, but
Do you feel it in your gut?
it looks like it's a penalty for me.
Oh,
come on,
no, it's
Bruno.
not what I wanted to hear, Mikel.
What's the no
Oh,
card?
that was tight, though. That was tight. I'm nervous.
I mean, this embodies like sort of the race for Champions League football, doesn't it? Like, these are the margins. A penalty, a centimetre away, Johnny Evans' big toe was. Oh.
We'll be sending
I
a
mean-
text to Johnny McDonald. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
this
much,
goes
Johnny.
in, I will be.
Bruno's been lethal from the spot as well, hasn't he? Michele, you're backing him very quickly.
Yes,
Thanks,
of course.
Johnny.
Answering fair enough. Oh,
Yes!
for God's sake!
Cool as you like. Loves it.
Look at Mikel there, composed in the top right,
Love it.
not even flinching. Winner.
Bruno Fernandez converts yet another penalty. Manchester United steal the initiative
Oh!
in this race for Champions League football. But that's not the only goal, Will Brazier.
Would you believe it? It's Arsenal 2, Watford 3. Danny Welbeck coming back to haunt his former side. And it's
Hold on.
3-2.
Is that the score?
The 3-2 to Arsenal.
Arsenal 3, Watford 2. What did I say? Have it. It's
Well, you said
not,
You just
Arsenal
announced
two, Watford
that Watford had overturned a 2-goal deficit, mate. That was an absolute scenes.
they might be on the way. Arsenal 3, Watford 2. Danny Welbeck scored. Wow. It's not over yet down the bottom.
What 30 seconds on the Football Social. I'm pretty stunned. Bruno Fernandez obviously been prolific from the penalty spot. Hasn't had his best game in open play, McCubbin, but
Nah.
what do you do? What do you do if you're Ollie here? Shut up shop. Now we know that you're a conservative, manager, McCubbs.
No. Go for 4-0 now, I reckon. Go for 4-0 now. I mean, at this point, Leicester have to score 2 in 20 minutes, so they're going to be throwing everything at United. Obviously, stay composed. Stay organised. But just seeing the Welbeck goal there. But I think just play the same game. Leicester are going to come at United way more. There's going to be more opportunities to break now. Just keep on going for it. And capitalise on those mistakes. That penalty was made from Greenwood capitalising on the mistake of Hamza Chowdhury. So let's just keep at it at this point. There's no real reason to change game plan at this moment in time.
Which is the complete antithesis to Brendan Rodgers' approach at the minute, as he makes a triple substitution. Damari Gray, a prolific substitute for Leicester. He's actually been... his end product's gone missing in seasons gone by, but he's he's been pretty good since lockdown was lifted. Pratt and Harvey Barnes have also come on as well. Harvey Barnes having his best season to date, and if he can salvage something here, then I think Leicester fans will be up in arms if he's ever dropped again. Oh, come on, Leicester. My girlfriend's dad's going to be on the phone to me after this, Mikel. My girlfriend's dad's a Leicester fan. I'm anticipating a half an hour phone call of just moaning and groaning. Do you think Manchester United deserve to be in the lead, Mikel?
I think they've had more chances than Leicester. But then in terms of content overall, I mean, Leicester has a decent game as well. So it's tight. It's 1-0. Reflects the game really. But now, everything changes because Leicester has to score. So if United play smart, they should take advantage. If they don't put their pedal off the gas, they should score another goal at least.
Sure. I was going to ask Mikel. We were talking about derbies earlier, and your debut for United was at Anfield for Liverpool, Man United. And obviously, you're talking about the Milan derby and stuff. Did the Milan derby set you up well for such a difficult first game? I mean, that there don't come many more difficult games than going to Anfield.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize what was happening, guys, because I arrived on Thursday evening in Manchester. I trained once Friday morning, and the next morning I was playing at Anfield. So I didn't know my teammates' names, and it was arms. Easy stop for David.
Oh, come on. Harvey.
Easy in the end.
His goal-scoring form has escaped him since the lockdown. Not the first big opportunity he's passed up, but definitely one of Leicester's brightest sparks in a bright season. Oh, come on. I'm trying to pick myself up here, Mikel. I need a Ferguson half-time team talk just to tell me to stop being pathetic. Pull it together.
I don't think Leicester can do it, to be honest.
Why have you got to be like that, Mikel? Can you try?
I want you to be prepared for your talk with your father-in-law.
Yeah, Mikel, it's one of those where you just put him on loudspeaker and just leave him on the kitchen counter while you make yourself a little snack, little coffee. Oh, Leicester have got a free kick in a promising position though. What did you say? Sorry, Will, mate.
Click that across and send it to the in-laws. I'm sure they'll be delighted to see your attentive calls.
He'll be buzzing, just to be on it, mate. To be honest, he's Football Social's #1 fan. Amari Gray taking a free kick for Leicester out on the left-hand side. Let's hope it's better than Tielemans' delivery. Straight out into touch. I've had just about enough of this. Right, okay. Let's go over to Social Corner, Will.
Yeah, well, we've got Damari Gray on stream. Obviously, he's Birmingham alumni. And one Birmingham alumni making the news this week, Mikel, was Jude Bellingham. And obviously, they've retired the shirt at Birmingham City after one season, 44 appearances and 4 goals. I just wondered what your take was on the whole debacle, let's be honest.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you not seen the news?
About the shirt? I thought it was... No,
it's true, that, mate. Yeah. Welcome to Birmingham, Mikel.
That's
a bit over the top, I think.
I heard they retired it, Mikel, because he signed a new contract when he didn't have to, which meant that Birmingham City got a transfer fee for him. But if that's all you have to do in Birmingham to get a number, then maybe you should get your boots back on. Dust them off, Mikel, and I think you can put in 30 plus games in the Championship next season.
That's that's a nice gesture if that's what it meant to the team, to the club.
It's nice, but a bit weird as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's weird at the same time because that's not what you expect, definitely. It's nice and weird at the same time.
Nice and weird.
So, would you be interested in joining us as a manager next season, Mikel? We've got an open vacancy at the moment.
Manager? Well, on the social...
Yeah?
No,
Birmingham City.
I'm not sure he knows who
squad,
Birmingham
mate.
City fan were.
Birmingham.
You fancy that?
Are you trying to think of where Birmingham is, Mikel?
No. I was just thinking about Peaky Blinders.
Nice.
There we go.
All right.
Welcome, Mikel.
Go on now!
Oh my
for
God.
God's sake!
Oh, absolutely scuffed that.
And it's
How
literally
many-
exactly like
I mean,
that in Birmingham.
that was Wes Morgan, to be fair.
Oh, where's Morgan in the Trekker Easter role?
I do
love it.
feel like in this game, Leicester, the best chances there have been so many chances where it should have been Vardy in that position, and yet it was Tielemans, or in this case, Morgan.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what Wes Morgan's doing there. Maybe Brendan Rodgers has just gone full Tinkerman. I mean, his ethos at Liverpool was like anyone's a left wing back if you try hard enough. Maybe he's using Wes Morgan at AMC. Who knows? What I do know is we've got a price boost. Oh, it's gone over.
There we go.
have a price boost from Sky Bet. Leicester to win 2-1. Come on, positive vibes. That's what I need to hear from you, Mikel. Despite the fact you want United to win, I need you to be open-minded for me, mate. 28-1. Odds accurate at the time of recording and subject to change after the 18 plus to play along. We'll see if we can dig out odds on a Wes Morgan double as well. Because, utility forward. I don't know what Kelechi's smiling about. Actually
Head gone.
I don't know what you think to Kelechi repeatedly coming off, McCubbin, or if you've noticed that theme over the course of the season. But I actually thought he was pretty useful first half in his build-up. Not so much his finishing, but I'm not sure they've looked any better with him coming off.
No, not particularly. I think Leicester have looked the second best team generally in the second half, whereas in the first period, I think going forward at least they looked a lot more together than United did. And yeah, Kelechi is a big part of that. He's pretty creative. He's an intelligent runner, and yeah, I think he was one of Leicester's better players in the first half. So for sure, I think Brendan Rodgers clearly is just trying anything at this point, because it is it's pretty desperate times. You need 2 goals in 10 minutes. So I can kind of see why he's changed it around so much. But yeah, Kelechi maybe wasn't the best candidate to be taken off, for sure.
Yeah. Obviously, we've got the gift of hindsight. I was more talking about the repeated, the same substitution time and time again. I am hearing from a gallery that Wes Morgan to score is at very healthy 66-1. So if anyone fancies a Queen's nose, which is 50p, I'd recommend that. Will, let's go back over to Social Corner, and there's also been a few updates score-wise, right?
Yeah, some of the meaningless games. Man City are now 3-0 up. I think Raheem Sterling scored there. Che Adams has scored 2 for Southampton. Hadn't really scored all season, but now he's got 2. At the bottom, Aston Villa are still saying up. It would be their first away clean sheet of the whole entire season. So what a time to get that. But yeah, they're staying safe at the moment. 3-2 to Arsenal, and Bournemouth still winning 2-1. And I think Bournemouth have just scored a third there. They're now 3-1 up, so it's all going off. Let me get my head and ask a question. Mikel, I wanted to get your take on the managerial situation at Watford. 3 permanent managers, 5 including caretakers. What do you make of all that?
That's what you call gambling, isn't it? No, it's tough. I mean, for the managers to come in and have an impact. Okay, you might have an impact on the first few games, but then if you're not being given the time to establish your plan and to deliver, what can you do really? But this time, I mean, it won't work for Watford. It doesn't look like it, unless there is a miracle. But yeah, it's Demarai Gray.
Well, Gray, man.
Give me that.
That's where you want to see Damari
Richard.
Gray. In between the fullback and the centre back. A lot of the time, he's sort of doing really odd step overs, you know, on the byline.
The corner.
Perez, what's Perez done since he's come on? I'm bored. I'm borderline losing my head here. It should be a corner. You're right. Sorry, were you halfway through answering a question there, Mikel, before the opportunity presented itself?
For all the managers involved this season, it's a nightmare. It's really a nightmare because you can't do anything. You can't win this. And then you're gone. But at least you know when you sign for Watford, that's what they do.
I thought. Sorry, Mikel. I totally agree with your view on Watford. We were just trying to decipher there whether Harry Maguire was going to be sent off or not, because he's on a yellow card. And that was a pretty circle that's given away a free kick. And Leicester once again have a set-piece situation. Oh, it was Matic. Matic was booked earlier. This was still Maguire in this situation, yeah. So Demi Gray over the ball. It would set up a grandstand finish, wouldn't it, if Leicester scored now? And if they can't take advantage of these opportunities, this plethora of opportunities they've had, I probably have to be inclined to agree with Mikel. Straight into the wall.
Love it. Strong wall.
Mikel, did you ever play with someone that absolutely hated going in the wall?
No, people don't complain about it, but then you see the footage after, the one that turned left or right. Then you understand quickly.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Paul Pogba in recent weeks.
Like that? Yeah.
No, I can't remember anybody.
Who was the most fearless defender you played with, Mikel?
Fearless defender? Nemanja Vidic.
Was that just? Were you surprised, Will?
No, Vidic
Mikel's
and
answer there.
The other one would be Taribo West at Inter.
Taribo West,
yeah.
Legend.
Love that. Let's get in the business.
Legend.
Aston Villa just going there because that's what the gas was for.
Right, Manchester United look like they're shutting up shop. Scott McTominay is coming on for the man, Bruno Fernandez, who's made the difference from the spot. McSauce coming on to see out the last 8 minutes of this game. That's including stoppage time. Incredible. So Nemanja Vidic, most fearless defender. I think that's a pretty good answer, isn't it? I can't. Between him and Jaap Stam, I can't imagine there was an awful lot in terms of bravery separating them. Come on, Leicester. Right, let's go over to social corner then, Will. Let's dig me out of a hole here.
Yeah, no, we had a chat about the player of the season during half-time. We'll have a little round table between all of us now. Who do we think is the manager of the season? Obviously, Jurgen Klopp, most people going for, but honourable mentions to Chris Wilder. What do we think? Starting with you, Mikel.
Yeah, I think Chris Wilder, with the squad he's had and the lack of experience in the Premier League, for sure should be nominated because they've done extremely well. Nobody expected them to do so well.
Goal! That's it! Wow! Jack Grealish in what could be his last ever appearance for Aston Villa. My mates are in the lounge watching it if you can hear him. Jack Grealish has just scored and he is keeping Villa in the Premier League. Wow. That's it. That's done. Jackie Grealish, we've got 6 minutes to go. Don't think they're checking it. It's all done. It's all dusted. Aston Villa should be staying up.
Wow.
Excitement.
I was going to say, that's we saw how emotional Jack Grealish got the other week in his post-match interview, discussing whether it might be, one of his last contributions to this Villa side. He's obviously going to be a much sought-after player in the summer. McCubbin, you take him at United?
I'm not overly keen on the idea of going for Grealish, just because, like I was saying earlier, I think if you're going to focus on one player, I think you've got to go for Sancho. The fact that Villa are staying up now means that Grealish is going to be more expensive to go for. He's probably going to be in the 60, 70 million mark. I don't necessarily think, at least in terms of what United need, that's money well spent on him.
Do you think he still leaves, McCubbin?
I think if the right offer comes in, he leaves. I think if the right offer comes in, he leaves. But whether that offer comes in or not is debatable. And for sure, staying up is a big
Oh my God!
Part of that. What's going on, Will?
You wouldn't believe
What is
it.
going on?
You actually wouldn't believe it. I'm not writing it up. This isn't Football Manager. Aston Villa have got the ball. West Ham have got the ball from the kickoff. Yarmolenko sits it. It's looped up imagine about three of me and Mikel. I'm 6'5", so it's gone up pretty high, and it's looped over Pepe Reina, and it's gone in. It's West Ham 1.
What do you mean?
Aston Villa 1.
Where was Pepe
it's not
Reina
over
standing
yet.
from kickoff?
Absolutely crazy. 1-1 here.
Oh wow! Okay, well we'll try and keep on top of it. I'm sure Will do his utmost. Play has stopped here at the King Power. Who is that on the floor? I can't quite make it out. It stopped for a head injury. Brendan Rodgers running out of time to qualify for the Champions League, having been 14 points ahead of Manchester United at the end of January. They were second at the turn of the year. Haven't really had the staying power that he would have desired, the Northern Irishman, but maybe forgivable with injuries to key personnel. Breathless last 5 minutes. Manchester United, Leicester need a match winner here, don't they, Mikel? Who's the best match winner you played with? I'm thinking maybe Cristiano Ronaldo.
At United?
At United, then, yeah.
Yeah, Cristiano. Yeah.
Can you remember a particular time where he saved United's bacon and you just thought, okay, this guy's probably going to win 5 Ballon d'Ors and be regarded as the best player ever?
No. Maybe. No, I think Ruud van Nistelrooy, to be honest, because Cristiano.
He's changed.
When I'm at United, he's playing a winger, and Ruud being number 9, he could be the match winner, the saviour, and really influence the game in scoring the winning goal.
Can confirm that Paul Pogba got a yellow. We can also confirm that Ruud van Nistelrooy is Mikel Silvestra's favourite match winner at Manchester United from the years of... I thought Jamie Vardy was away there. Lindelof's come across well. Okay, Ruud van Nistelrooy. I mean, treaded a very similar path to Ronaldo, but what made Van Nistelrooy so hard to mark, Mikel?
Full of tricks, and in the box, you could create something with no space, really. Standing, didn't need a lot of time to trigger and have a shot on target. So he scored. Obviously, he scored most of his goals inside the box, and in the box, that's where you are more traffic, more defenders, more bodies. So it shows you that he had something special in him in terms of technique. You know, like a lot of Dutch strikers, fine technique, and he was unbelievable in that aspect of his game.
And Leicester's idea of a comeback, is gradually getting more unbelievable as well, isn't it? So much so that Kasper Schmeichel has joined the attack. That's what we love to see on the Football Social. Throw the keeper up there, get a centre-half up front as an auxiliary number 9. All the classic fan tactics. Absolutely chucking the kitchen sink it.
It looks like he's going to try and block De Gea's view by the looks of it. He's the furthest forward. Kasper Schmeichel.
Listen, if we can't quickly get a price boost on Kasper Schmeichel to score, then you guys aren't working hard enough behind the scenes, I'm afraid. Oh, chance gone.
No?
Foul.
George Hurst
my
came
God.
on earlier in the
That's
game
it.
for Luke Thomas. He does look a lot like James Wayne, which any Football Daily fans will know about, but it's quite disconcerting. Oh, fine margins. Will, can you ask a question? Because I'm finding it increasingly hard to hide my disappointment.
Yeah, well, we are just a little relegation update. So if West Ham score in the next, we've got stoppage time. So if West Ham score, they will send Aston Villa down and Bournemouth will stay up. That's just a little relegation one. So there's lots on the line as we go into he's got his board 4 minutes left there at Villa. But it's also with Manchester City 5-0 up, Mikel, I wanted to get your thoughts on what is Premier League legend David Silva making his last Premier League appearance today. What has he brought to the league and how highly would you rank him? Oh my God, straight red.
Evans is off, doing it for United once again. He'll be shaking Solskjaer's hand on the way off.
Johnny Evans, who has had, I don't know if that's a straight red or a double booking. We can confirm that for you very shortly. Okay, it's a second yellow. Well observed, McCubs.
I think so at least. Yeah, it must be. No, I don't know, man. That could be straight.
It was a committed first tackle.
Yeah.
The first tackle was great. The second tackle was nasty, and it's a unfortunate finish to what has been an excellent season for Johnny Evans. But I mean, let's hope McTominay isn't hurt, because that looked like a man who was frustrated. Mikel, is that tackle born out of frustration, not getting the right result for your team?
A little bit, but I don't think Johnny is that type of guy. So I don't think it's bad at all. I think McTominay is playing the card of the team who needs to win time and throw things down. So that's it for me. It's nothing much. To be honest, I don't think that tackle is really impressive. He's going to be.
There we have it. There's the difference between someone that's played Premier League football. Mikel saying that's nothing. Get up and get on with it. McTominay's wasting time, and there's me saying it's an absolute horror challenge. So, happy to go with you.
Johnny didn't have a lot of speed, when he did that tackle. No, he didn't have a lot of speed when he made that tackle. That's why.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
He was already on the floor.
James
I was going to ask
Mikel. Oh, go on, McCubs. Go on.
I was going to ask you. You were chatting earlier about about Nicky Butt telling you about Mason Greenwood and obviously Johnny Evans is another player who came through the ranks at United and they've got a great history of bringing through youngsters through the academy. Have you been kind of keeping an eye on what's been going on with the United academy under Nicky Butt's kind of stewardship?
Yeah, under Nicky, there is also the other former teammates, Quinton Fortune, who's an assistant with the under 23s now. So it's always good. I watch youth league football, and there is again promising players coming through the ranks, but there's not enough space in the first team squad to integrate them all at the same time. So that's the only problem. When you have so much talent, they need to go somewhere else to play because there is not enough room. That's it. It's as simple as that. When the Nevilles, the Butts, the Beckham, Giggs, Scholes were there for 10 years, it was tough for the other ones to break in because the spots were already taken.
For sure, but it's quite heartening to see. I was looking the other day, and I think in Europe's top 5 leagues, there's no club who have a higher percentage of youth players in their squad than Man United this season. I think it's something like 40%.
Yeah, it's a tradition, and it's part of the club's DNA. Really important. Yeah. So Villa is safe.
Yeah, that's it, Mikel. Aston Villa are safe. I think Watford is still playing unless they scored 2 in injury time. Barring a major miracle, Aston Villa will be playing Premier League football next season, and Norwich, Bournemouth and Watford are down to the Championship, which is also the best league in the world. Yeah,
I'm disappointed Leicester haven't qualified for the Champions League, but I think probably the best 4 teams in the division have, and Manchester United have been in the ascendancy for quite some time and gradually improving, haven't they? They've improved it, incrementally, and it looks like... Oh,
here we go.
What has Casper done? Is that Lingard?
There we go.
Please? It'd be great if Lingard gets his
What
first
about
goal
that?
of the
Jesse
season.
Lingard.
Yes, that's his first goal in
Player of the
ages.
season, Jesse Lingard.
You know what?
Love that.
Loyalties aside there, Jesse Lingard has had a tough time of it of late, and he gets his goal through being utterly persistent. Casper Schmeichel in the last few weeks has gone from the most reliable man in between the sticks to a bit of a liability. Well, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he's trying to do there. What a way to bow out of Champions League football. Okay, I mean, Jesse Lingard. Jay Lings. What a guy. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What a substitution.
Oh, he loves it.
Okay, so we're a matter of seconds away from the whistle going. We're actually 8 minutes into injury time, having had 5 put up on the board. And Manchester United, the result looks a little bit more comprehensive than it maybe was now. But, yeah.
I think that was always going to be the case, wasn't it? Leicester were always going to have to throw everything in the last 10 minutes and leave themselves open like that. So I don't think Leicester fans can really feel too annoyed. It's like, you've got to throw everything at that point, don't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, Casper Schmeichel, at fault.
I mean, they can feel annoyed with Casper Schmeichel kicking it at the opposition's bum against Bournemouth, but maybe not so much there. There's been some strange occurrences between the sticks for Leicester at the end of the season. But we have on screen now full-time scenes we can go over live to the King Power, where Manchester United have secured Champions League football. Like we said at the start of the show, it's only the 3rd time they've done so since Alex Ferguson left 7 seasons ago, and Jesse Lingard getting his first goal in the Premier League from open play, and goodness knows how long. Maybe someone can dig that out for me. But yeah, Leicester, Europa League football it is. Mikel, do you think that's been fair over the course of the season? Have Manchester United deserved it?
I mean, it's been a strange season, and the pandemic has helped the team really to settle and fresh legs. You know, Pogba was back, fit again. So the signing of Fernandez was a big plus, massive plus, big impact. And Rashford also was benefited from that break. You know, remember he had a very bad back at some point before the break. So it's been a fortunate end of the season for United, but still they had a lot of work to do. I think they've shown a lot more character and togetherness, but also physically. As you mentioned during the show, the starting 11 hasn't changed much, even though there was 5 substitutions available. So the players had to be fit to deliver and play in such a tough rhythm, and they did. So I think, the season has been strange for United, but for the entire Premier League, and they end up where the tables doesn't lie. So 3rd, I think. Chelsea is 4th. I don't know the guys, if you can confirm, but it's a very good achievement from Ole Gunnar and the squad.
Yeah, we can actually clarify that now for you, Mikel, by having a look at the table after these final scores, which is Arsenal 3, Watford 2. That was one of the more exciting games that Will was keeping track of. Chelsea pretty convincing in the end, although goalless in the second half. Manchester City thrashing Norwich, David Silva bowing out in style. And Liverpool overcoming that 1-0 deficit against Newcastle, which means they finish on 99 points, right? I mean, that'd be pretty annoying. I am quite OCD though. Let's go to the table, where there we have it. Manchester United finishing 3rd on 66 points with a better goal difference than Chelsea. I don't think we can sum up the season any better than Mikel just did. It's been weird and nice, to paraphrase an answer used earlier. But Leicester do finish 5th, Tottenham 6th. On the balance of play, I think the right clubs have probably gone into the Europa League. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Is the table just? And get any last questions in for Mikel. We'll rattle off a couple in just a second, but let's go to the United fan then in McCubbin. Pleased, mate?
Yeah. Loving it, yeah. Buzzing. I think it was a weird game because it was, it wasn't the best performance for United, and yet that penalty kind of secured it. It didn't look like Leicester were going to really get those 2 goals in the final 20 minutes. But yeah, it's great to be back in the Champions League. I do think United deserved it based on that second half of the season. Perhaps got a little bit lucky in terms of the lockdown coming with allowing Rashford and Pogba to come back to full fitness. I think that was a big, plus. But at the same time, United went into that lockdown in really good form as well. Bruno Fernandez was such a revelatory signing that form was really starting to pick up. So I think, all in all, based on that second half of the season, I think United deserve to be in that third place. Like the goal difference alone, I think is really impressive considering where it was back in January. I couldn't really ask for much more.
Yeah, wonderful scenes there at the end with Jesse Lingard grabbing that goal. It's just made me think about that guy's bet on Twitter who bet Jesse Lingard not to score or assist in the Premier League for the 1920 campaign, and he has. Will, that's the sort of thing that you lap up, mate. But what are you lapping up in the comments? Have you got any questions for us to see out the show?
Yeah, lots of shouts coming in for man of the match. Mikel, so we'll start with you. Who was your standout performer?
Difficult to pick one out today, to be honest. None of... Maybe... Lindelof. For me. Lindelof. We haven't heard about him. So it's a good sign for a defender.
Yeah. Love that. Wouldn't have even considered him, but Manchester United pretty untroubled, weren't they? Apart from those kind of snapshots and that Wes Morgan miss, which is glaring maybe for a forward and not for a 35-year-old centre-half. I think that's probably us for the show, gentlemen. So do we have any more final thoughts? Will, any more observations on the other game to add to the equation?
It was just a crazy afternoon, really, wasn't it? Arsenal going 3-0 up, then Watford pulling 2 back there, and then the Villa scoring with Jack Grealish. You'd think they'd done it 90 seconds later. Yarmolenko gets a deflected one. But, I mean, Villa have got 10 points in their last 4, and they didn't get any points in the previous 13 games. So it's been a remarkable turnaround. I'll be very gracious on this stream because I've got 2 Villa fans in the lounge who are probably crying into each other's arms with delight. So I've got that to put up with. Thanks for having me on the football show, the football social. It's been a pleasure, Chris, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we did plan to cry into each other's arms, but of course, social distancing doesn't permit. So maybe we can just do that on WhatsApp afterwards. Thank you very much for joining us. Mikel, absolute pleasure. I've loved your just very matter-of-fact answers. It's been great value on this show. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I did. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you.
Perfect. McCubbin, thanks for joining us, mate. How are you?
Pleasure as always.
How are you feeling on matters? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I disconnected there just for a second. You good? Can't ask so much
good.
more.
Yeah, I'm good actually. Yeah, I'm gonna have a nice evening now. Grab some dinner and look forward to the Champions League next season.
All right. I mean, we do have the guys behind the scenes have said something about a best of, but it disconnected pretty abruptly. So okay, let's just leave it there. Thanks. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.